Hello. Now, as some of you already know, I am having problem with a visa for my wife. The second one was to come here at Christmas, and they refused it. And they refused it for reasons which last time I said were basically lies, fraud, made up. And every time they refuse one, they keep the money. It's £100 a time. This time, they refused it based on I had a refusal from last time. So, by that account, we're never going to win. The idea is you want to come here for Christmas to see my dad, who's obviously not well, not expected to be another year until next year. And of course, the lies that they told basically made up in order to refuse a person from Thailand because the risk factor is that ladies might want to not go home. So, as I pointed out, there is no trust, there is no innocent until proven guilty. You are guilty at the outset. So that again is fraud as far as I can see, because they're not even going to take what you say as part of the application process. And I didn't fill it in myself, but I gave the details, and I had to provide a supporting letter. Obviously, anything I write in that is going to be true, and it was. Now, why can you not complain? You would think that it would make it easy that if you've got a problem, you complain, but they don't let you do that. You have no right to complain. You have no right for anybody to look at this and check it to see if it is right. There is no comeback whatsoever, and this is fraud, because in this way I could have 10 applications. I could refuse all 10 of them by making up a reason, and that is 10 times £100. This time around we paid an extra £200 for prompt service, like within 3 to 5 days, and they didn't even do that. So I paid £200 for that, and it was 6.5 days. Okay, they will argue that there's no guarantee, and there was a weekend in between, but I did not count the weekend. I did not count, it was working days, 6.5, and so they got £300 plus the £200 from last time, and refusal with a ban. The fraud that I'm saying basically is they're frauding people out of money, but they're also doing the biggest thing, which is making up stuff which, to be honest with you, they can sort out by speaking to somebody. They actually interview the lady from Thailand. They could ask her, what do they mean by X, Y, Z? But they don't. They take X, Y, and Z as fact, and they just base it on that. There's no leeway. I mean, if you said it was red colour, they would take that as fact, even though it might not be red. It might be slightly off. It might be pink, for example. But they didn't say, oh, are you sure it's like red? It might be a purple colour or a pink colour. Can you describe it? Yes, I can describe it. It's more like purple. And I'm talking rubbish, but you know what I get onto this this idea that they didn't even check. And when they say in the original refusal was you basically have no idea how long you're coming for, which was true. She didn't know, because in my supporting letter, I said she was coming here to support me and look after me while I had surgery. And I put in there, I didn't know whether it was going to be 2 months, 6 months, or what. But the visa itself, you don't have to specify how long, which is why I'm very, very annoyed about that, because it's a length of time and you can stay right up to the last minute. You don't have to specify, oh, I'm going to be here for 2 weeks and I'm going to go home. No. You can come here up to whatever the maximum is and then go home. You know, this is the whole thing about the system. I don't agree with it because it's incorrect and it's wrong. Guilty until proven innocent. So they basically called me a liar because they claimed that I said my dad was ill and I never put anything in there to prove that. But his medical records are private. What am I going to do? Take a picture of him sat in a hospital bed? Maybe I should have done. Or maybe they could ask, is he really ill? What's the prognosis? Because they do interview. So, you know, it's not as if they can say, oh, we haven't got time for that. They can check, if they want, they can check on whether the employer was still in business, but they just assumed they couldn't get him on the phone, that was it, the wrong number. So you're a liar. You didn't work there. You put down on your form that you worked here. There's no phone number, can't get through. You're a liar. That's what it was. Basically, she never lied because in the interview she said she was unemployed. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I digress. So this has really pissed me right off with this latest refusal. And what I've done, I eventually found somewhere, and I have no idea where it is now because I can't go back, the UKVI, that's UK Visa Immigration thingy. I found an email address or a web page that you could complain via. And when you talk about complaints, I'm complaining about obviously the decision, but I'm also complaining about the service. I'm complaining that they are basically committing fraud by stealing money, by making up excuses, which they are. They are excuses, treating people like they're criminals, which they are, and I wanted to complain about all of that. So I wrote a very, 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 very long web page complaint, and I've just had the response back. Thank you for your correspondence. Unfortunately, we are not able to accept your correspondence as a valid complaint at this time for the reasons stated below. So if you want to make a complaint, you have to go to that particular address, which I'll show you in a minute. Your correspondence relates to dissatisfaction with an immigration decision. This type of correspondence does not fall within the remit of our complaints process. We strongly recommend that you seek legal blah blah blah, which I've done, and that was useless. In the UK, the Office of blah blah blah, the OAISC regulates immigration advisors, yeah, blah blah blah. Right. And if you have any further questions about entry clearance, then you have to go to that external website, which is where you'll find that it's £1.39 a minute or £2.74 for an email. And you basically go through and you have the same problem. There's no one there to obviously do anything about this. So that's what I got. Unfortunately, what I've also done before I got this, but after I sent it, I wrote a very, very comprehensive complaint letter, including all of the documents that were relevant, because I couldn't send them with the web page. There was no way to send them, so it was a written complaint. So I sent that off, and I know they've got it because it was signed for. And obviously they will probably come back with the same bullshit that you cannot complain. So let's have a look and see what this is all about, because it's very very interesting. So they're saying that because it's a complaint about the decision, you can't complain, is what they're saying. They won't take it as a complaint. When you go through the website, you click on that link, complaints procedure. Find out how to complain and how we deal with complaints. Well, we know how you deal with it. You just email back and say, it's not a complaint. Right, okay. So I have a complaint about your service or professional conduct. So quite clearly, it does come under that. And it is within the last 3 months, because it was just last week. Blah, blah, blah. Unhappy about a decision, you have to go for this one. Apply for an administrative review. Yes, okay. So, now, if you click this, if you're outside the EU, okay, you'll be told in your application refusal letter if you can ask for a decision on your visa application to be reviewed. Right? So, the item there, number 1, 2, 3, 4, you do not have a right of appeal against the refusal. So what it's saying is, tough shit. We've said no. You can do nothing about it. Yeah. Right? And if it did go through, if they were allowing this, then it costs 80 quid to appeal it. And yes, it does take a long time, up to 6 months, to because it goes to a tribunal. You will be rejected if you ask for a review of a previous decision after submitting a new application. Luckily, I was complaining about both, but mainly the latest one. So, the other thing, there's no right of appeal. If you click on the no right of appeal link, you can appeal to the first tier tribunal. All of those things. The tribunal is independent of government. A judge will listen to both sides before making a decision. Unfortunately, you won't get there because they do not let you appeal. How do I know? I've already done it. I did it for the first one. The first refusal. We are now, obviously got this letter, this long document in. It went to London, UKVI Home Office, and I expect the same treatment in the fact that they will send that back and say, tough titties, we've said no, you can't do anything about it, but we can keep your money because that's the way we are. The outcome from Tuesday, by the way, I had a immigration lawyer. She was pretty much, I would say, useless. having had all the documents, and that I spent for a good 45 minutes explaining everything, she came up with 2 options. And by the way, that was Tuesday. It's now end of Thursday. I've not heard anything from them or from her. Option 1 was they could do another visit visa, even though we've been told that for the next 5 years, if we do apply, they will cancel it straight away. But she has said that what they're going to do is apply, but send in there full explanations for everything that's gone on, which is what they should have got in the first place if they bothered to ask, but they didn't. And if they were doing proper investigations and treating us as in the proper manner, i.e. not guilty but innocent, and not trying to find fault, which they did. Obviously they want to find something to use as evidence, which they did. And of course he would put that in a full document, but the problem was it was a 50-50 risk factor. In my opinion, I think it would be more 90-20 or 90-10, 80-20, I mean like that. It would not be even 50-50. I'm not a gambling man, I don't gamble. So the other option, number 2, was that we could apply for a residency visa to live here. That's something that you do. If you want to live here, you have to live here for 9 months of every year in the first couple of years. And it lasts for 2 years. And it's 1,500 going to the government in their pocket. And the company said that they would do it for 1,500. They're talking about now is $3,000 to live here, to come and live here, right? Okay. Oh, the other criteria that you need is English certificate, Ielts, which is a standard thing. However, you can't just do any old Ielts. You have to do the one that is authorized, even though the exam is exactly the same as the other one and a lot dearer. You have to do the one that they say. So that's obviously something that my wife does not have at the moment, and she failed it last time. But $3,000 to come here to live, or even to come here for a holiday. My initial question, and I'm sure you're thinking of the same question, right? If they'd said that all future visas will be cancelled, what chance is there of this one going through? Think about it. You're paying $3,000. Even if it's a 50-50 chance, you're going to lose $3,000. And probably get another ban as well, because the ban, which we didn't know about, by the way, we didn't know about it, and because there's been no paperwork, was extended to 5 years' time. So I will be 65 before she can apply again, and of course they will just refuse it because she's had 2 refusals. I am very, very annoyed, especially when you see that there are 300-400 people coming in every day on the boats, and they don't have to speak English, they don't have to have anything, they don't even have to have a visa. And of course, I know I've said this before in another video, but it's true. The system basically is set up for you so they can steal your money. And certainly if they see that I've applied again and I've paid $3,000, they're going to be thinking, oh, we've got to find a way to to refuse this visa because we're going to get £3,000 in our pocket. Yeah, it's corrupt. It's fraud. If there are any people out there who are immigration lawyers who don't charge the earth, because this woman wanted, for option 1, for the visit visa and a letter, she wanted me to charge me £800, right? And that is not including the £100 to the government. So it's basically £900 for another visit visa that they will probably refuse. So if there's anybody out there that charges a little bit less, or if you know anybody who is a human rights lawyer, then please do comment down below and let me know the details, because I think human rights is possibly an angle that they can't argue with. Well, they can, because they already have. In the in one of the letters I had from Home Office, it said, because I tried to use the Human Rights Act, Article 8, the right to have a family life. They said in that letter, in that paragraph, they said the only reason they would allow my wife to come here under that particular law would be to my funeral. And I think that sometimes my wife actually would be better off if I wasn't here. I know financially she would be well off. I mean, talking about in Thailand, she would be probably a millionaire in baht. Obviously not pounds, it's baht. But she would be probably, you know, well over the million. Obviously, that is to do with my payout on my pensions and things like that I've got. So yeah, I think that sometimes I think that she would be totally better off with, like, me not here, and then she can move on with her life. So I'll leave it there. That was the response I had to an official complaint. Have a good day. I'll catch you later.